So in the rabbit, there are two precaval veins or superior vena cava. So this is the right precaval vein draining directly into the right auricle or atrium of the heart. Of course, there's a left one, but I haven't dissected it completely. It's symmetric anyways, or almost symmetric. So that would be the location of the left precava. Shove the lungs aside, look dorsally. There's an azygos vein. Azygos vein, into which the intercostal veins drain. So azygos, intercostal. This one, the anteriormost intercostal, is the supreme intercostal vein. And unlike the other ordinary intercostal veins, the supreme intercostal directly drains into the precaval vein. There's another vein that directly goes into the precava, best seen on the medial side, and goes for the neck and all the way to the head. This is the vertebral vein. Vertebral vein. And then another one draining into the precava is the internal mammary vein. Crawls over or under the sternum. Internal mammary vein. And it goes straight downward to the abdominal cavity, the abdominal wall. Sorry. So those veins crawling on the abdominal body wall would be the superior epigastric vein. It's a continuation of the internal mammary vein. Internal mammary vein. And then after those tributaries, you will see that the precava is formed by the fusion of this vein going to the limb, and then this large vein going for the head. So the one going upward for the head is the external jugular vein. So it's this large vein here on the side of the neck. External jugular. And the one going for the limb is the subclavian vein. So together they drain into the precava. Let's follow the external jugular. So the external jugular vein has a tributary here going for the shoulders. So you see, this is the limb. This would be the upper arm. So that tributary of the jugular from the shoulders is the transverse scapular vein. Transverse scapular. The internal jugular cannot be seen anymore, but it also drains into the external jugular. You should find it along the sides of the trachea. There's a slender vein going upward to the brain, from the brain. The external jugular also drains superficial structures from the head. Let's follow it from the left side. External jugular, left, and it receives two tributaries from the face. This one, anterior facial vein. This one more posterior is the posterior facial vein. And then the posterior facial vein is formed by two tributaries. One going on the front side of the ear and the other one going behind the ear. So on the front side is the anterior auricular, and then the one behind is the posterior auricular vein. Let's follow the subclavian. Again, this is the subclavian draining into the precava. Once the subclavian goes out of the body wall, you're now in the axillary or armpit region. So it changes name into axillary vein. The axillary vein, the more proximal tributaries of it would be the long thoracic and the cephalic. So it's better dissected here on the left side. So this is the axillary vein. The long thoracic is the one that passes along the cutaneous maximus. There, when you skin the rabbit, there's a very long vein attached to the cutaneous maximus and also on the skin on the ventral chest side. It drains among superficial structures like the cutaneous maximus, the skin of the ventral trunk region, the mammary glands on the chest region. So that would be the long thoracic vein. So if your rabbit still has the cutaneous maximus, look for a very long vein passing along it. So that would be the long thoracic. So look at it. So the long thoracic drains into the axillary. So let's turn to the right side again, axillary. There's a branch or tributary going upward. See that little vein there going upward, as if going to the deltoids or the shoulders. That's the cephalic vein. It actually comes from a superficial position here on the lateral side. So you see this vein on the side, the shoulder, lateral side. This is cephalic vein. It's also seen on the other side, cephalic vein. Now blood from here goes all the way to the medial side, becomes this one. That I showed you earlier. So cephalic vein. And then just right next to it, but on the pointing on the opposite direction, as if going caudally and a bit dorsally, this is the subscapular vein. It's that vein that goes straight for the teres major. So this is the teres major. If you've seen a short, thick vein that goes to the teres major, going for it, that's a subscapular vein. And it drains into the axillary. There's a tributary going into the subscapular vein, and this tributary drains blood from the latissimus dorsi. So this is the thoracodorsal vein. So the thoracodorsal vein drains into the subscapular, and then the subscapular drains into the axillary. And then once those tributaries have already been found, the rest of the axillary becomes the brachial vein. You're already on the upper arm region. So this is the brachial vein already. Unlike the precava, existing in pair, there's only one postcaval vein draining into the right atrium as well. So that's the postcaval vein on the thoracic region. Look for it in the caval fold here, along with the medial lobule of the right posterior, and extends all the way here in the peritoneal cavity. So this is the continuation of the postcava. We'll examine its paired tributaries. starting from the cranial end. So there's a pair of renal veins going from the kidneys. This is the right renal vein, left renal vein. You can see that there's another tributary, there's another vein slightly cranial to the renal vein. This is the adrenolumbar vein. It's right next to this little organ here called the adrenal gland. Adrenolumbar, renal. Then moving caudally, look for this slender, easy to break vein that goes for the testicles. So this is the internal spermatic vein. So the internal spermatic vein drains the testes, blood from the testes, and then into the postcava, straight. There's another spermatic vein, but unlike the internal spermatic, it doesn't drain directly into the postcava. I'll show you later. Actually, it's this one. You see, there's another vein draining the testes, but it doesn't drain directly to the postcava, but instead it drains into the external iliac. So let's first examine the other tributaries. This is the iliolumbar vein, and then just posterior to the iliolumbars, the postcava will now split into two. So the first split will give rise to the external iliacs. So this is the right external iliac vein. And then the postcava continues downward as the common internal iliac vein. And then it splits again to give rise to the internal iliac veins. So you have to look for them deep behind the rectum and the bladder. So there's two split: postcava, external iliac, common internal iliac, and then there's the internal iliac. And then what remains of the postcava, that slender black vein there draining the tail, is the median sacral or caudal vein. There, caudal vein. What are the tributaries of the external iliac? First, external iliac. There's a tributary crawling underneath the obliques or the transverse abdominal muscle. So whatever that vein is that crawls underneath the body wall is the inferior epigastric vein. Remember, there's a superior epigastric all the way from the internal mammary. So this one is the inferior epigastric vein draining into the external iliac. There's another vein here going for the body wall, but instead of crawling underneath the body wall, it crawls outside superficially. So that vein was already seen during the skinning process. It's that vein located on the groin area, adjacent or sticking to the fat in the groin area. So this is the superficial epigastric vein. So if you haven't removed some of the fat in the groin, in the inguinal area, you should see this vein, which is the superficial epigastric vein. This one also draining into the external iliac is the vesical vein. It drains blood from the bladder. External iliac. vesical vein. The vesical vein also gives rise to the external spermatic. External spermatic vein, vesical vein, and this one is the external iliac. And then the external iliac goes out of the body wall, found in the thigh as the femoral vein. Femoral vein goes straight along the thigh, and then when it hits the shank region, it gives rise to the saphenous or greater saphenous vein.